Good afternoon, everyone. I want to welcome you and thank you for joining us here to celebrate the work that we're doing at the United Community Housing Coalition. My name is Katura Epps, and I'm the program coordinator for the Make It Home program. Since 1973, UCHC has carried out its mission of helping residents to stay in their homes and strengthen their communities. I am proud to say that our commitment to managing the Make It Home program has turned that mission into a reality for many Metro Detroiters. This year alone, I've personally seen a father reclaim visitation rights of his children because he has a place to stay. I've seen a single mother who's finishing nursing school finish knowing that her kids have a safe place to sleep every night. That is the difference that this program is making in the city of Detroit. I'm honored, deeply honored, to bear witness to clients like Ms. Barbara here and be a part of the stories of how Make It Home is changing their lives. Make It Home, if you don't know, is an affordable home purchase program that gives residents living in foreclosed homes the opportunity to purchase their home after it has been foreclosed, but before it goes to public auction. Since 2017, this program has helped purchase over 1,100 homes for low-income residents, including renters, former owners, and family homes. In our 2022 cohort, we were able to help 239 clients become homeowners, bringing the total to more than 1,300 homeowners. Homeownership provides an opportunity to create a stronger, more stable neighborhood and establish generational wealth. We're grateful to have the support of various community partners to help us make this program sustainable. Make It Home would not be possible without our community partnerships. When participants in the Make It Home program purchase their home, we are able to offer 0% interest loans to finance that purchase. We believe that everyone should have the opportunity to become a homeowner regardless of their income, regardless of their credit score, their savings, or the type of employment that they have. Because of our generous donors, our clients are able to purchase their homes without credit checks or without a hefty down payment, making the goal of homeownership more accessible and affordable to Detroiters who may not have had an opportunity to purchase a home during a more traditional route. Our loan program would not be possible without the generous donations of Rocket Community Fund. With that being said, please welcome Vice President of Strategic Investments from Rocket Community Fund, Laura Greneman.
Thank you so much. This is almost like Christmas morning to me every year. It's such an incredible day to be able to celebrate an incredible opportunity for these 239 families who now are not just able to stay in their home, they now have the foundation to survive and thrive in their home and really take ownership, metaphorically and literally, of the rest of their lives and the lives of their children and grandchildren. And you're going to hear a little bit more from Barbara in just a minute, but she's a perfect example of someone who has a child in the home and many grandchildren who come and use that home as an incredible foundation for their lives as well. So I'm so proud to be here. And I wanted to reflect a little bit on not just this past year of the program, but also the last 5 years of this program. I remember sitting in the mayor's office about 6 years ago, thinking about this opportunity that we saw right in front of our eyes. For the first time, we had data because of a program that we run called Neighbor to Neighbor, where we go door to door and talk to every single family that's living in a property that's behind on their property taxes. And we found out that 52% that year of the people that we spoke to were renters. This was the first time that we had really parcel by parcel information about who was living in these homes. And we're able to really act on that data, to do something together. And it was incredible how fast the mayor's team, UCHC, the county, the city council, and Rocket Community Fund all came together to say, you know what, we have a vision. We have a vision that it should not be that a renter should be vulnerable to this type of displacement. because their landlord wasn't paying their property taxes. We have a vision that every single renter whose landlord isn't paying their property taxes should have the first right to purchase that property. And I'm so proud today to say that over 1,300 families are now homeowners, despite a system that causes so much turmoil across our community. You know, I often say, and our team at the Community Fund often says, you always overestimate what you can do in 1 year and underestimate what you can do in 10. We started with a pilot of 80 families, and now we have a system that is supporting all renters who are in this situation. So I could not be more proud to stand beside partners like United Community Housing Coalition and the mayor and his team and city council who support this work so incredibly well. I also want to take a moment to thank my team, because without them, it would not be possible. So Gwen, you have done incredible work. Thank you for making this day possible. It is your dedication. It is your dedication that keeps programs like this going, so thank you for all that you do. And then one other thing that I wanted to mention, we do support the homeownership of families like Barbara, the 238 other families that have participated this year. But even more than that, we have to continue to stay connected to these families over time, because nobody lives their life in a silo. It's not just about becoming a homeowner. Just becoming a homeowner doesn't make some of the other challenges in our lives go away. And so as we've stayed connected to the 1,400 other families that we support through the Make It Home program, we've learned that home repair is one of the most significant needs that our families experience. You can imagine if your landlord is not paying his or her property taxes, he's also likely not paying things like deferred maintenance issues, roof repairs, porch repairs, right? And so I'm incredibly proud to say that this year we will be making an additional $1 million commitment to a repair fund to support families like Barbara to be able to make critical home repairs to their properties. These things help not only the safety of families, but they also ensure that families are able to stay in their homes and are not at risk of displacement for reasons other than tax foreclosure, right? For reasons of health and safety and sustainability for their families. So incredibly proud to also say that we have been able to already support 367 home repairs just this year with our Make It Home cohort. And we're looking forward to many, many more. Right, Ted? Yes. Absolutely. So thanks to all the partners. As I said, it's incredible what you can accomplish together. And I'm looking forward to many, many more years of this to come. Thank you. And I also, speaking of partners, want to introduce a man who needs no introduction, one of the hugest supporters of this program, a partner from day one, Mayor Mike Duggan.
This is one of my favorite days of the year. There are 239 more homeowners in Detroit today than there were yesterday. And that's quite an accomplishment. So thank you to Katura Epps and Ted Phillips and UCHC, Laura Graneman, Rocket Fund, Chelsea Neblett, and the great team that we have at the city. It's now above 1,300 people. And I know this can be confusing, but let me tell you how this program works. And this program was Dan Gilbert's brainchild. This was his baby from the beginning. If you read the narratives that are printed, you would think that the majority of foreclosures are homeowners who couldn't afford to pay their taxes. That's just false. It's too bad that it keeps getting repeated, but it's false. The great majority of occupied foreclosures are landlords. And we have had a scam in this town for far too many years when people pay $500 at the treasurer's auction, buy a house, don't put a nickel into it, don't pay a nickel in taxes, rent it out, take the cash, and 3 years later it gets foreclosed on. And about 5 years ago, Dan Gilbert came to me and he said, you've got all these landlords being foreclosed on. You're going to have a bunch of vacant homes. And I said, well, what are we supposed to do? We can't very well at the landlord's profit department. He said, we've got families who are making their rent payments every single month. The families living there are doing the right thing. It's the landlords that are pocketing the money. He says, but you have a right under the city law to pay the taxes when the tenant wants to buy the house, take the house out of foreclosure and turn it over to them. And I said, wow, that's a pretty significant endeavor. I said, where are we going to get the money? He said, I'll come up with the money to buy those houses out of foreclosure, help these tenants get financing. We're going to go knock on the doors of all the tenants and see who wants to be homeowners. I've been in many of these homes, and to listen to children say, Mom, you mean we're not going to have to move again? And have the mom say very proudly, we're never moving again, we own this house. That's happened more than 1,300 times as a result of this program. So you saw the numbers. In the 2009-2010 recession, Detroit dropped under 50% home ownership, majority rental for the first time in our city's history. This year, we're above 50% home ownership, and it wasn't by accident. It's been hard work on programs like these that are taking Detroiters who stayed, who were making their payments every month, and turning them into homeowners so they're here for the long term. It's a tremendous program. I'll always be appreciative of everyone who made it possible. And I think about Dan on this day every year. This is the way he thought. He was just thinking about opportunities for people in Detroit to own their own homes. And we have had enormous support from Detroit City Council from day one. And at this point, let me introduce one of those great partners, Councilman Fred Durhall.
Well, good afternoon to everyone. First, let me thank Mayor Duggan, Rocket Community Fund, UCHC, just for your tremendous partnerships. When we talk about community partnerships, it's indicative with programs like Make It Home. We heard as she spoke about our Neighbor to Neighbor program. I can tell you, representing District 7, one of the hardest hit areas by the foreclosure crisis was Russell Woods, an area in which I grew up in. And I can tell you, I started to see homes become vacant because folks were losing these homes to foreclosure. And so Rocket Community Fund got on the ground with the Neighbor to Neighbor program, spread awareness with community groups within our district. And now you see that type of partnership coming to fruition with the Make It Home program. And in District 7, I'm happy to report that over 200 of the folks who are homeowners came through the Make It Home program, which is just amazing. Obviously, we all know the importance of home ownership. We hear it at our community meetings every time. We have a lot of renters, but we want folks to become homeowners, because what does home ownership does? Or what does it do? Home ownership strengthens communities. It ensures that we have density in our neighborhoods, that we don't have abandonment, that we don't have blight. And so home ownership is one of the most important components to a stabilized neighborhood. And I'm glad to see that we are starting to do that. And that's why I support programs like Make It Home, because it helps strengthen our neighborhoods. But it does something additionally. Home ownerships, particularly in minority communities, is very important because it creates something that we talk about all the time and use as a catchphrase, but it's hard to obtain, and that's generational wealth. When we have home ownership in our communities, those families can start building and maybe pass that home on to their family, to their sons, to their daughters, and create that wealth in our community, which is so desired. So again, I am very thankful to be here today, standing with Mayor Duggan, standing with Rocket Community Fund, standing with UCHC to support this program and the expansion of this program. And please keep up that great work. Please, let's strengthen our partnerships so we can ensure that our communities, our neighborhoods remain strong. With that, I'm going to turn it over to someone who has been very vocal since day one of my most amazing colleagues who has been vocal and a champion for home ownership. And I'll turn that over to Councilmember Letitia Johnson.
Good afternoon, everyone. So one of the things that I don't want to do is glaze over the partners involved in this program. I've observed the program since its inception, and I've just been ecstatic to see how helpful the program has been. I came into office earlier this year, and during budget season, I was pushing to add dollars to the Make It Home program, and I didn't realize that Rocket Community Fund was taking care of all of the families that qualified for the program. So I certainly want to give kudos to Rocket Community Fund. Thank you all so much for the generous support that you've provided to these families. It is tremendous. It improves our communities, it stabilizes our neighborhoods, it creates and builds that generational wealth, and it helps us to grow as a city. We also can't thank United Community Housing Coalition enough because they walk with the families through the process to make sure that they're getting all of the support that they need to be able to purchase these properties. And that is a tremendous effort within itself. So I want to applaud you all for your support and making sure that we can continue to build our neighborhoods. So thank you from the bottom of my heart, because I was making sure that this program had the support that it needed to be able to help the families that were desperately in need. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. I don't want to stand here without sharing that the University of Michigan provided a statistic that said that 92% of the families that have gone through the Make It Home program still own their property today. That's tremendous. And that's because of all of your hard work. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. So when I came into office earlier this year, my team and I recognized the tremendous opportunity that was before us, and we hit the ground in collaboration with the Department of Neighborhoods, with the Wayne County Treasurer's Office, with community organizations throughout District 4 to make sure that everyone whose property was facing foreclosure, they were aware, first and foremost, that the property was about to go into foreclosure. But we also wanted to make sure that they knew of all of the opportunities that were available to them. And as soon as the application process opened up for Make It Home, we made sure to follow up with people to make sure that they were filling out that application and that they were going through the process. And so I have the honor and the privilege to introduce you all to a new District 4 homeowner, Ms. Barbara Sledge, in the Eden Gardens community. Ms. Sledge.
Good afternoon. My name is Barbara Sledge, and I am the captain of the Block Club Eden Garden on Rosemary Street. I would like to say thank you to the city of Detroit. I would like to also say thank you to the UCHC program for coming along and helping me and my family to become owner of a home in Detroit, Michigan, and also Rocket Community Funds. And I'm so appreciative to becoming a homeowner in Detroit. It's something that I've always looked forward to as a little child. And I was born and raised here, so this is my city just as well as all of y'all's city. And I would like to say thank you, and I am grateful from the bottom of my heart to becoming a homeowner here in Detroit, Michigan.
Before we close, I definitely cannot end this without just speaking a little bit about our staff here at UCHC, and just, what you guys have witnessed today. While the numbers are impressive, the statistics don't tell the whole story about our program here. For me, it's really inspiring from hearing from residents like Barbara. I think that's the most rewarding part of the work for myself. Over the years, you guys won't believe it, we've heard some crazy stories. We've heard residents talk about how they were, scammed into fraudulent land contracts, how they have absent landlords who don't do any repairs. We've heard clients come in and tell us how their grandparents' home that has been in the family for 3 generations, they're on the brink of losing it. And just the transition from hearing those stories at the beginning to clients receiving a deed at the end is what makes this work worthwhile for me. I'm also just want to say I cannot forget to thank all of the staff, interns, and volunteers here at UCHC. It is definitely a team effort. Without them, this work would be impossible. They spent countless hours meeting with clients, knocking on doors, taking phone calls, and just providing advice to our clients so that they know what their rights are and what options they have. Without you doing that work every single day, this program would not happen. I also want to give a last and final special thanks to our leadership here at UCHC, Zena Morgan, the Director of Tax Foreclosure and Prevention, Amy Alexander, Director of Homeowner Programs, and of course, Ted Phillips, our Executive Director. You guys, all of the support that you provide us with is what helps this program to grow, and I really appreciate it. As corny as it is, teamwork makes the dream work. So, thank you so much for joining us today, and I'll open the floor to questions for the press if you have any. Okay, all good. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.